1, 2. Hey. Sheriff.
Okay, 3, that looks good. Coming to you. Ready, 3, and take 2. On 2. 2, you're live.
Jackass!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another ShowTech show here on the Lone Star Webcast Network. Tonight we're going to be talking about mobile video, trucks and flypacks, and all things mobile. Big topic of mine. I'm a big fan of the mobile video world and all the engineering goodness that goes into that. And I've got on my right is Jordan. He's our technical director this evening.
Hello, guys. Hello,
Also
girls.
kind of a video.
Hello, Harvin, that is watching.
Yes. Hello, chat room. If you are happening to watch us live here on FrontierTelevision.com, don't be a stranger. Jump on over into the chat room at the blinking chat now light in this region somewhere over there. Or if you're a mobile viewer checking us out on your cell phone, don't hesitate to go to FrontierTelevision.com/mobile and get the all-in-one interface. Very proud of that little sucker. Made it myself. Probably doesn't work too well. So in addition to talking about mobile video and Texas, I almost said Texas production trucks, but production trucks in general, we're also going to talk about finding you the perfect gig. This is our weekly look at the job board that we'll do. We'll go around. That was really well put.
Yeah.
Right now, if you want.
Yeah.
We'll just go right into page 2. And we always like to do some curated industry and technology news that we can discuss at length, or at least until it gets bored. And at that point, one of us will just simply yell, "Next!"
And then it goes next.
And then there will be a sounder that happens there, but we'll do that later.
Next.
Very dialed in tonight. So yeah, with that, what do you say? You want to do the talk some news?
Yeah, let's talk some news.
Actually, yes, I was working the board last week, and so now you're all rusty and out of touch.
I know, it threw me off. I'm
Having
not
to
used to this.
Get back in the saddle again. That's all right. We're having fun. So let's see. Tell me about this TiVo Apple streaming headliner that you put in there, Jordan. That
Yes.
sounds-
So this is something that Apple has basically, well, TiVo has basically partnered, I guess, with Apple coming out. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. I'm working.
I like these
Sorry.
topics. They're kind of
I'm
interesting to the
trying to
streaming
keep
audience.
up with our live chat audience.
Oh, yes.
You know, keeping them active and
Jordan working
answering
quadruple
questions
duty as
while
always.
I'm doing audio stuff and everything else. So
Running the video board.
doing everything.
Running the
Doing
video
everything.
clips. Running the audio. Keeping
So,
an eye on chat. I just
TiVo
stand up
is
here and look.
getting in on the streaming game, announcing that users can now stream recorded shows to Apple TV through AirPlay, which, you know, AirPlay is something that, you know, is on the iPhone, iPad, most newer MacBook Pros and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, With the updated TiVo iOS app, recorded content from the TiVo, Romeo, or Premiere DVRs can now play on an Apple TV through an iOS device connected on the same
wow.
network.
Okay, so you've got to have a TiVo.
You gotta have a TiVo.
You've got to have an iPad.
You gotta have an iPad or iPhone,
iOS.
iPod.
And you've got to have an Apple TV to make this
Yes, to all work.
hat trick work. You can't just
Yeah.
go straight from the TiVo to
It's-
the Apple TV. You've got to have the TiVo app, which I'm
You
guessing
gotta have like
is
4 different things to make this thing work. Come
there's
on.
got to be an easier way, people. Come on.
I mean,
or you
what's
can
the
plug
point?
your TiVo into your television and actually just see it there.
Yeah.
I don't understand what does this give
I
you?
don't know. It's just like going through a whole gangbang chain of things to do.
This has got to be some circumvent
It's like a
copyright
train,
law
yeah.
kind of thing.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
But
that's
that's the theory. That's like something that was on the new thing. I don't know. It was on the TV technology thing that I always check on, like tvtechnology.com.
well, like I said,
Always check it out for new ideas, new products, stuff like that. And that was one of the biggest news that came out about 2 days ago, July 5th.
kind of a
4 days
light
ago.
news week. I didn't really see a ton of stuff out
There's
there.
not that much going on. I was like, I'm looking for new products, and it's like I think it's fading out of the NAB world right now. And
Yeah, we're after
you know, we're
shows- or,
transitioning.
Infocom
I mean,
and
well,
NAB, and
you know,
it's kinda summer break.
Infocon already passed and stuff like that. So I mean, I think the next thing that's coming up here next few months is LEI, which we'll be discussing more
Yeah,
stuff
it's
about
October.
that.
It's gonna be a long few months till October,
Yeah.
though.
So I think it's kind of the valley before we come back up again.
Yeah, I mean we've got some decent news items. I like to cover the streaming stuff though. Just like I said, we've got a streaming audience in front of us here. I'm a big streaming video enthusiast, and it is a future audience. For your traditional broadcast or show tech people, you got to be aware of these over-the-top distribution methods in TiVo and Apple TV.
So
No.
I also heard that ABC was going to periscope the Olympics.
Good. Why not?
I
Yeah.
just want to see your
Yeah,
reaction.
I'm off. I'm not going to get on my Periscope soapbox again. So, suck it. Next.
Next!
So let's see. I guess we can segue from that streaming news story to have you heard about this Now Live app? Is this something we've discussed in the past? Because it sounds like something I might have talked about. But they last month have released their Now Live app. And what this does, this is a streaming company that specializes in connecting with, kind of big budget brands and things like that who are doing online streaming. But it provides a product that the home audience can get multiple feeds from the same venue, the same broadcast, and they get to actually do the directing as far as what camera angle they're seeing, what their interface looks like. Instead of like on our show, we've got Jordan who does all the video switching before it goes to you. With an architecture like this, we just send everything, every camera angle, every laptop,
to somebody that's at a control center or something like that, and then that person's switching the shots.
No, like to everybody in the audience gets a simulcast feed of everything, and they get to say like, oh, I want to go look at this, or I want to do picture-in-picture of these cameras, or I want to have chat over here.
They're their own director, so the viewer is their own director.
Yeah, kind of like I don't know, I think some of the cable systems have like the Sunday Ticket stuff where you have multiple camera angles at a
would be
sports
nice,
thing.
yeah.
And you can kind of change it around. But this is another application of that where it's, and I kind of liken it to the 360 vision stuff where you're getting a stream of everything and you kind of decide where to look in that picture in real time. It's not something that a director chose for you. So it's interesting. I can see it being huge for live events like concerts, like sporting events where you want to go back and check out, or you're more comfortable looking at that. For many, many generations, we've just gotten used to taking whatever the TD sends us, for better or for worse. And I know a lot of artists would probably prefer that, I guess. But I don't know. I kind of like this idea of involving the audience, and you get to choose what you want to watch. It's kind of democratizing the production. So, good chat. Love our
I think it would be, especially like in sporting and concerts and stuff like that. Because we're all trusted with the director. And we might want to watch.
Yeah,
a different shot. I have one shot solo. Like for me, I'd like to see just the wide shot. I'd just like the wide shot. Just see the lighting, the staging, and all the other stuff. Give me like a from speaker to
you want
speaker.
the 1,000-yard view?
Yeah.
Like if I was actually going to buy the cheap tickets and go to this thing. Well, that's what's cool about this is, you can also do a picture-in-picture kind of thing. So maybe you just stay on that wide, establishing shot through the whole thing, but you've got, maybe a little close-up view of the talent in the corner, or you have your chat window in it. It's apparently a lot of flexibility in that presentation. So I just thought that was cool. Now live, check out the app on, it says here the internet. So if anybody has that at home.
What's the internet?
We'll cover that in a future show.
Okay,
Next.
thanks.
Next!
Dare I say, is it time for drone news? You don't have to key up the drone bumper unless you were cool. Yeah. Is it drones firing a gun? Tell me more.
Yeah, so this article, this thing that came out here
Super awkward to hear
is,
myself singing being on camera.
sorry, I do multiple things. Give me a freaking break, man.
I know, God, this is such a train wreck
This is
show
like-
for you. I'm so sorry, bro.
Yeah. So,
Really funny though.
this user, nobody knows who this person is because it's illegal what he's actually doing.
Having a robot shoot a gun?
Yeah, a robot shooting a gun. So, and this was the funny thing is this is also on TV technology news.
Really?
But if you want to
Big
go
broadcast industry rag. That's interesting.
if you want to go check out the video of this, go to YouTube. I'm sweating.
And YouTube is on the internet, I'm told.
Exactly. I mean, you can't miss it. I just like Google flying gun, and it's basically this guy built his own like quad homemade multi-rotor with a semi-automatic handgun mounted onto it.
Wow.
And he can remotely fire the gun.
This
from
sounds like something
his-
you would see in Las Vegas. I'm just saying.
Yeah, something like that. It's just he fired 4 shots and basically.
Was it a
It's
3D
against an
printed
ATF
gun?
Huh?
Was it a 3D printed gun?
Who knows?
Because then all of the makers out there would just be like, ho, 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 ho.
Who knows? I know that somebody said that the parent use of a solenoid trigger would class the device as an automatic weapon under ATF rules. So, you know what? I wish
so really
Scott
the gun
was
was
here. I
illegal?
wish Scott was here just because he would probably hate this whole thing.
Yeah, is that the only
altogether.
reason you loaded in? I actually
And-
I did see some drone news this week, and I was kind of hesitant to do anything about it, but it's kind of a stretch. The drone news. I mean, obviously, we're not the only people thinking that it has relevance to the show tech land and the production world because you got this out of TV technology. You said, but I did see this week that there was actually a firefighting operation going on in California that they had to call off the air attack because there were some drones in the area interfering.
And that's what happens. You
Yeah.
seem that you go to we're going like way off into drones again talk, but hey,
That's what we do
But,
on the Lone Star.
the Lone Star. So you see all this happen all constantly, basically, where any type of demolition or stuff like that. There's been a few demolitions here, like building demolitions in Dallas Fort Worth, and you see these
All caused by
about 4 or
drones.
5 drones just flying around trying to get the shot. Fireworks shows, these drones are going over, getting flying over the top of the fireworks, stuff like that, getting these shots. Now they're we're chasing down fires, like apartment fires, stuff like that. We're flying our drones out there. It's about at some point you just gotta freaking just like, all right, let's stop doing this.
It's
There's
getting a lot.
safety. There's safety that we have to deal with, and
But-
also so the
okay.
people, firefighters can do their job.
But to be a devil's advocate and to directly quote some of the comments that were in this thread that I read about the firefighting problem, are they really hampering anything?
What?
Huh? I'm sorry, I thought one of our affiliates was chiming in.
Yeah, it's
Um,
Harvin.
But no, it was they said like, dude, like a firefighting helicopter is going to blow a drone out of the air. Like what could they possibly do to? I mean, what is your little DJI going to do to a
Exactly.
4-prop air attack? It's gonna
and
it's going to destroy them.
I've
It's not
also
going to have any kind
yeah.
of chance.
I've also seen a video online, when you just random YouTube, you just basically go on YouTube and you'll just like type in drones. And there's also been like a park ranger helicopter, an actual human pilot helicopter inside, and they were hovering over the drone trying to push it into the river. But they're,
So they were
with their
harassing
downwash.
the drones.
Yeah, the drone was flying in the park, whatever, something like that. And the helicopter saw it and was like, you can't be flying in the park. So they tried to use their downwash.
That's Bush
drop it
League,
down.
man. You got to fight fire with fire. You need to get this automatic
firefly.
weapon drone and then
Yeah.
just fly it over and shoot the other drone. So that's air superiority. All right, that's all I have on drones. And did you want to say anything else? See, I like reviewing drone products. Like
Yes.
if a new drone platform comes out or a new remote control camera, something like that, I think that's applicable to show tech stuff. Everything else is just kind of pissing Scott off, which is also great for the show. So I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. But yeah, I can see why this
I've been
rabbit
hearing a lot
hole
of
is kind of
back on some more drones.
topic.
I've been hearing a lot of issues with that 3DR Solo, the one that I've been kind of
Okay.
wanting getting.
uh-oh.
I've heard a few people say it's a lot of flyaways, but it's still in its virgin stage. It's still like generation 1. It's going to have issues. But everybody says, oh yeah, it has a random flyaway. But the good thing about it is the 3DR support is like, hey, if it flies away and it's our fault, we're going to give you a new drone and give
That's
you a new
true. That's the
GoPro.
company that does like the data tracking thing
Yeah.
in the app. So you just send that file up and you're like, flew into a tree.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's cool. Let me say next. Keep this thing going.
Next!
Very snappy on the next, by the way.
Thank you.
Molto bene.
Molto
Okay.
bene.
Let's see. So ATSC news this week. This is the 3.0 standard that they're testing for next generation over-the-air delivery. We're currently in ATSC 2.0, I believe is correct. ATSC is the digital replacement for the NTSC broadcast standard. So this is what encompasses digital, high-definition transmission, that sort of thing. What allows you to watch your local affiliate over the air in pristine HD. But ATSC is the next generation ultra high definition standard that they're currently testing. There's a broadcast station in Cleveland, Ohio, that's got a kind of a test transmitter set up in a 6 megahertz channel, and they've been testing the much more robust standards of this new standard. 3 simultaneous streams going out in the 6 megahertz channel, providing what they say mobile and handheld and 4K, which is what's interesting to me. So obviously you've got some lower definition streams for your handheld device that doesn't necessarily need an ultra high definition feed, but it's also simultaneously within that 6 megahertz bandwidth doing the 4K transmission over digital. So that's seems to be like they're in the active testing phase. And not only is this give you a lot more multi-channel capability within your spectrum. The ATSC 3.0 standard apparently has a lot better penetration into buildings, a lot further range, so you can get penetration. Thanks for coming to work, Jordan. Appreciate it. No, but yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a much more capable standard. I was one of the naysayers about going to HD digital transmission because I think its reliability is somewhat suspect. Anybody knows that if you ever watched NTSC broadcasts and you got a little bit out of area or your reception wasn't so great, you'd get a snowy picture, but you could kind of tell what was going on maybe in an emergency situation. With digital, it's either all there or nothing at all. And pretty problematic for a lot of your elderly folks who are in more rural areas, or even for people who had just fine transmission indoors. Maybe they had the tinfoil on the antenna and they could pick it up, but now they couldn't get anything. So that was no good. But ATSC, in addition to being able to do things like cover 4K video and broadcast ultra high definition, apparently it's answering some of those issues. So better over-the-air penetration. He's still laughing. Awesome. So what do you think about that? Broadcast, is it dead? Question mark? No. Possible answer. Period.
Well, I don't know.
All right, I'll say next. That's next to that, and then
Next!
yes. The 500 series on-camera field monitor, Jordan. Tell me all about this one.
Oh, wow. All right. So this thing was pretty, freaking sweet. Let me pull up a little picture here real quick. So it's almost a on-field camera monitor about the size of your iPhone, like an iPhone 6 Plus or something like that.
All right.
It's pretty nifty. Hold on, I'm still working on this.
Yeah, I know. I was doing the same thing last week. How does this work? Clicky click.
Yeah. So
He's doing 4 people's jobs. I've done the math on it. Easily 4 people's jobs right now.
All right. So, well, that doesn't do justice. Thank you for stretching that out, make it look like it's stretched to fill.
That's
all right.
what she said?
So this one right here. Yeah, that's what she said.
Right.
Look at that thing. That's a pretty nifty little monitor that you can attach to any type of camera out there on a shoe mount or something like that. And you can also get a kind of a sun shield for it, so you can basically.
Okay. So kind of lightweight is the.
It's
bit
lightweight,
here,
runs on battery and stuff like that, and also it has a nice little feature. They did a recent update on it that you can you can't record video, but you can record images.
Okay. So you can take little snapshots.
What the heck, my computer's? Yeah. So you can take pictures and store it on your SD card that's built into it. As my computer's going to start slowly crashing here.
I was going to say, is your Apple computer having trouble, Jordan?
My Apple, yeah. And I can't wait for Harvin to
are you hearing
this. He's like, oh, that's why the Apple, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, the constant back and forth.
It's a
that could be a show right there.
It's a cheap monitor that you can go out there and use for any type of,
Well, you say cheap. What's the price point on this sucker?
It's a good question there. It is.
But it's cheap. That's all you need.
It's dirt cheap. Hold on. Let me go. Well, I had that link up. Now everything's closing down. So, yeah. Let me go back up here real quick. I think it's starting at $8.99 for the small one, the full 5-inch display. HD display.
Still liking my Black Magic, man. What was that? $500
for another one?
No, that Black Magic screen we looked at the other week.
Does it come with a Pelican case? HDMI in and out?
It did have HDMI in and out. It did have SDI in and out.
Well, that's...
It had
there you
2...
go. This one looks like an iPhone. Batteries.
Okay, well, there you go. I stand corrected.
This is one that Scott will get.
Yeah.
and in chat here, see the Mac is corrupting the show already. Told you. Thanks, Harvin.
All right. Well, let's say next to the news segment. You survived another one, ladies and gents. Thank you for sticking with us through all that. Next is the main topic tonight. We're talking about production trucks. So I'm a big truck nerd. I don't know about you. I just like mobile things in general. And then when I got into the world of TV production, it was wonderful because now it's all about trying to mobilize studios and broadcast engineering and satellite transmission, and it's all kinds of good stuff. So I just wanted to kind of go round robin here on some of the platforms that we've seen or experienced or whatever. NEP, big truck production company. What are their shooters? Shoemasters.
Yeah.
These guys have they're a national firm. They create rental vehicles for all your big networks and sports broadcasts, and these are semi-truck based usually. This is the kind of thing where you'll have 3 or 4 of these things out on a show site, but it completely gives you a world-class broadcast studio.
Yeah, it's a studio inside of a trailer.
Yeah, it's
when
not
I say
a
trailer, I'm like a 53-foot trailer.
Yeah, it's not like a production
Expando.
truck. It truly is a studio on wheels. I mean, you can run hundreds of cameras out of these things and support full.
I mean,
full
in
on.
one semi, you have basically an audio mixer, engineer, shader, graphics, EVS. The person directing. I mean,
Yeah.
producers lounge and stuff like that, all in one 53-foot Expando. So it's a pretty nice setup.
Yeah, these are the big boys. Like I said, I don't know how many international. I said they're a national firm. They're actually an international firm. They're in Australia. They're in Europe. I think they've even got some Africa holdings for all of their up and coming infrastructure down there. But these are the units that are truly fun to go look at when you go to something like NAB and take the tour. Great accommodations, state of the art, everything. Way too expensive for me, but amazing to see. So that's NAB. You're a big Game Creek guy, I guess.
Yes.
You've done some looking into that. Tell me about the Gum Creek.
They're a starter. They're not as big as NEP right now, but they're getting there. I think they're based out of northern
Georgia or
Boston.
something? Oh, really?
Boston, New Hampshire. I forgot what
Boston, New Hampshire.
I forgot what town it is in New Hampshire, but I know they do a lot of stuff with Boston, and they've been getting contracts now, with the Golf Channel and doing the golf tour and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
NASCAR and
And that's the
everything.
thing. Usually, a lot of really sportsy applications for this world. That's probably the biggest employer, I would say, of your mobile production trucks at this scale, at least.
Yeah.
Because this is a place where you don't really have the option to have an indoor facility. You're going to, it could be a college stadium that can't afford turns out they can't afford a world-class broadcast facility, or you're going to like these golf tournaments, going out to where you're just out in the elements.
So we have a question while we're here.
Okay.
A question in chat, since this is free show or whatever.
Free show, no charge.
Brown Coat, aka Harpin, aka Jackass, asked about how about a truck that is also a bug out truck that is EMP what? EMP
Proof?
Proof?
It's an EMP professor.
Professor? EMP professor? EMP proof. I don't know what that is. Like, that's not production truck. That's just like a bug out truck.
Well, Harmon's a big zombie preparedness guy. That's Showtech is kind of like his part-time thing. His main deal. He's a prepper. But actually, that's one of the things I always thought. Like, I wanted to build a satellite truck for IP broadcasts, and I always thought the Humvee was a great platform for that, just because of its ability to take that satellite uplink to really the most remote of locations. But one of the features of a military-grade Humvee, the diesel engine, is electromagnetic pulse proof. That's why the military doesn't use gas-powered engines.
Oh.
The diesel will not be affected by a nuclear blast. It'll just keep on chugging.
Huh.
So there you go. Get yourself a Hummer, Harvin. Little pro tip from the Showtech Show. But speaking of satellite trucks, I've got a link there to just kind of just a Wikipedia picture, just to kind of lay out what we're talking about. And anybody who's been in production has seen these things. This is actually a huge bastard version that you see in the foreground here. It's got a big C-band dish on the back, which really... I don't know. I mean, I guess you still see that, but there's really no purpose for that anymore, unless you're dealing with a traditional
C-band, KU band,
With digital and with compression nowadays, the big C-band dishes they're not quite as necessary, I guess. But just forward to that big C-band dish, there's a little KU band, which is your usual 2-meter dish, something a little bit more sensible. And then even if you could see ahead of that, I don't know if you want to put the picture back up, but you could see just ahead of that was a smaller little, like a direct TV dish, something like you might have on your house for satellite or for television, that sort of thing. But go ahead, put that picture back up if you can, Jordan, because in the background is another cool little thing. That little black truck there, I know that also has a KU band dish on top of it. And that's always what I've been interested in, these little stingers that now, because of the power of internet video and with video streaming, you can get all of the connectivity. Well, yeah, I mean, not all of the connectivity, but you can get all of the utility, I guess, of a vehicle like this big semi-truck, this big commercial class thing, on a regular gas-burning truck that can do better highway speeds. It can get better access to buildings.
Yeah, it can get more remote than like a big truck can't.
Yeah, faster deployment times, easier to support and maintain, a lot more range, and like I can only imagine how difficult it was to park and set up this semi-truck in the foreground. And we're little homeboy here in the SUV probably just rolled up and popped up his mast in like 10 minutes and was probably putting out the same HD video. I mean, honestly, it was probably, one was probably going through New York and going through, broadcast master controls, but that guy was probably just straight to the internet.
Yep.
Or a CDN. So, but yeah, that's kind of my thing. I first saw that particular concept here in Dallas at one of our Texas production roundups that they hold every year, kind of a local vendor showcase where just local companies come in and show off their wares. And NetStream Live was a local company that they're mainly, obviously they're just webcast producers and webcast, service technicians. So, but they were rolling out a new model, and I've got a picture of that one too. It was the first time I'd ever seen this IP satellite dish on top of a SUV. There it is at the state capitol. But this was a Ford Excursion model they had.
Oh.
And a little pop-up dish. These things are great. I mean, they're about $50,000, the package there, and the satellite time is expensive, but it's getting a lot more reasonable to where you can buy it like a monthly service, and they even have it now where you can have kind of a low bandwidth standby plan, just keep it going, and then if you have an event happen and you need, 2, 3, 4, 6 megabits, something like that will support a stream like we're doing to you from the house here. You can turn that on, drive this thing anywhere. These little dishes are nice and sturdy if you're in weather environments or whatever, that are rough. They've got, darn near Mexico to Canada coverage as far as being able to hit a satellite and get your nice, strong uplink. And I just love that package. I mean, just that idea of having that kind of connectivity on wheels where you can just basically roll into, even if it was like a devastated hurricane area or something that doesn't have any infrastructure, doesn't have anything, and stand up that dish, and suddenly you've got the connectivity of a major metropolitan area. That's awesome. Or, there's some good opportunities there for taking your connectivity out into the middle of the desert where there is no 4G connection, or there's no cellular, or there's no good internet connection, and just kind of bring your own. It's more expensive, but the ability to do productions in these really remote, rough locations is awesome. So, that's kind of what turned me on to the mobility thing.
Yeah, it's easier for it to just go off-road, You can't really get a semi-off-road.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Those big trucks are nice.
It's portable.
Those are.
This can go in the parking garage almost when the dish just claps down, and you go on top of a parking garage.
Yeah. That was my thing. Is I always wanted to build one on a platform that was low profile enough so you could get under those short clearances and go up in a parking garage structure, and then just go set up on the roof there, and you've got ultimate line of visibility everywhere you might want to be for catching a satellite, and then you just throw a cable down the side of the building and you can set up shop. So
Harvin says that the satellite can be used as a drone launching a landing strip.
There you
go.
Yes, for all of your drone control.
I said they can also grill some hot dogs.
Yeah, don't stand too close. For those of you in the first 3 rows. And then, so we're talking about cool trucks and different applications and things, and we would be remiss if we did not mention the HDMC1, which is an old favorite of ours, no longer in service. It's since been retired.
Me and Harvin had some fond memories on this bus.
Gross.
Nothing bad. Okay. But because we actually did ride in it from Dallas to Daytona Beach, Florida, with a bunch of other people. And it looks like a tour bus, but on the inside, I have some pictures here.
Yeah.
On the inside, it's here's like a producer lounge. It has a shower and a toilet.
Handsomely appointed.
To go with it. They also have here's an audio board station for the person mixing the audio.
Yeah.
So it's pretty remote. It's not like a full a Game Creek or NEP or something like that, but it does get the stuff done. It's pretty portable and stuff like that. Plus, it's really nice. It rolls right in.
Yeah, this is the back
Here's
half
the back
section.
of the bus. This normally on the motorhome, this is where the love making happens, but this is where the TV making happens.
This is where if the buses are rocking, we're in production.
Yeah. So you have the Ross Synergy 2 HD switcher there.
An Apple storage server in the back.
Yeah, you have the
for-
X servers on the back. I got a picture of that also. So here's the raw synergy, Final Cut editing for playback and stuff like that. And here's basically the servers, the X
Computers
servers
and
and
such.
stuff like that. And I know that Apple did partner with Brian Green and HDMC.
Yeah, this is Green HD
This-
Productions here in Arlington, Texas. Produced this guy for. They took it to NAB, won some awards. But it was a cool concept of putting a pretty robust production environment into a really nice cabin that's fun to travel in and
And of
comfortable.
course, it's like the same normal as the regular that the sides do expand out a little bit, so you have a little more room to work with
Yep.
the producer and everything. So,
And I
it
think
doesn't
one of
bother
the pull-out cargo bays where you would normally put your luggage or water toys or whatever, that had your breakout panel for connecting cameras and triacs and all that.
It had
good
a
stuff.
patch in and out board towards the back corner of it, which is nice. The only thing I absolutely just didn't like about it, well, a few things, and I kept on hammering Brian and all the other people about it that were in the design of it. It's like Trax base. You need to have some kind of like a Trax or fiber base, and they kind of basically had a multi-pin,
Oh, so a 26 pin,
SDI, a
something.
26 pin SDI power, stuff like that. And also, you're messing with multiple cameras. Have some kind of like sync or time code generation or something like that.
Ah,
They
okay.
remember how they go out there and like, all right, all the cameras face the stage, flash camera.
Ah, yes.
Just sync all the
old
cameras. Like,
fashioned.
it's easy to put some like.
Well, that's the impression. I think
coded
Green
there.
HD back in the day, at least, they were very post-production oriented. They were very go out and record things and then put it together. That's why the post-production suites were so powerful on that one. Was you would take all your footage in RAW and then put together a piece. It was more designed for bring your own post-production facility on the road with you and let the editor sit in a cool, comfortable place to edit. A nice boutique kind
And
of
they-
suite versus a live production environment. It was capable of doing
Yeah.
live production, certainly.
And I remember this also, that they could not edit while you were moving because just the vibration of the bus and stuff like that.
yeah. This
So
was
they
before-
would shut down all the
These
computer
weren't
hard
solid
drives, stuff
state
like-
hard drives.
No,
They-
this is
yeah.
just running
was before
disk and
that.
stuff like that. So they always shut down everything when you're driving down, even though it could run off a generator. They would shut it down, and so that way the disks are not spinning and they won't collapse and stuff like that.
Right, yeah. But nowadays, I mean, there's clearly an opportunity to make that more robust and in motion with flash-based media and storage and everything. But it was a pretty revolutionary, I think you'll agree, design at the time as far as putting serious, robust production equipment into that kind of luxury environment. Typically, the luxurious stuff is reserved for the talent, and as nicely appointed as even some of these NEP and Game Creek trailers are, they're pretty bare bones when it comes to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you might have cushy chairs and you'll have air conditioning, but you're not going to have like a wine bar and
A
a
shower.
couch. And, yeah,
Shower.
yeah. You pretty much have to walk your ass over to the Holiday Inn for that. So HDMC one, really cool. Like we always
And
say,
the
rest
toilet
in
was
peace.
mobile, so that was a good thing.
The toilet was mobile.
So yeah.
Tell me more.
it was a mobile toilet. No, so the toilet was actually functional. So like you're driving down from between.
Oh yeah,
Dallas
because it
and
was
Daytona.
a marathon coach.
Yeah.
It was a full. It was a
wasn't
luxury
like
bus.
like a decals and make it look like, oh, there's a toilet. No, it was an actual full functioning toilet that you can use the little shitter when you had to
Yep.
go to the bathroom or whatever, even though you don't want, Okay, this is going off topic a little bit. Etiquette for when you're a roadie and you're living
Toilet
on a
talk
bus.
here on the Lone Star. Sorry.
This is the etiquette when you're on the bus.
Oh,
You
yes.
live on a bus. No number 2s on the bus, only number 1s.
Mhm.
You hold it until you get to a stop and go number 2's there. Why? Because you go number 2, you stink it up. It smells. Everybody has to smell it.
Well, now that was before they invented poopery.
Yeah, poopery.
You can,
That's true.
you can spritz a
Poopery.
little poopery in there, and then it's like flowers. So, not a plug. They're not sponsoring us, but they have safe words. Well, okay, that'll take us through production trucks, unless you want to add anything else. But I think it's time we give these people a little look at the job board this week. You guys looking for a job? You want a gig? Need some work?
Sure.
Awkward pause. Come on.
It keeps on opening up a playlist.
Ah,
That's why.
You're double clutching it. So the job board, you guys know the bit by now. This is something we do every week just to put some cool and interesting jobs out there for the show tech in mind. Just in case you're thinking I need something more, maybe your next gig. I started off this week looking at Indeed.com, and then I found Peloton Interactive in Chicago. This is actually an exercise bike company. And this is for, I guess, the Ritzier. Okay, there we go. Hold on. Where am I going to go?
Keep on going.
But these guys make exercise bikes with built-in screens on them that live stream exercise bike classes to you in your home. So not for your average apartment dweller, but these things are pretty nice. You can on demand go in and watch a class, or you can you can be there for a regular weekly thing. So you still have that commitment to going to class or whatever, but you can do it in the comfort of your own home. Not surprisingly, they need production people too. They've got to have that studio operation up and humming. And the Chicago office is looking for an AVL streaming IT tech for... That's another one of those all-in-one jobs, Jordan. So this is good practice for you, man.
Yeah, it is.
I know I'm making you do everything here, but that seems where the industry is going. So basically someone who can do roundabout studio setup work, but also has a little bit of IT background so they can monitor and maintain the streaming fidelity for the home audience and on-demand video operations. I don't know, I've kind of linked there to floatcycle.com if you want to take a look at their rigs. I thought it was kind of interesting. But it's just yet another, the internet, for as off the rails as we go with some of our internet and streaming talk, it's really just more work for the production professional out there. The more sources of content and the more potential receivers 24/7 on every device imaginable, whether it's your phone or your exercise bike, it's work, baby. All right, well, moving on. I'll go to monster.com. NYU, New York University in New York City, they're hiring an audio and lighting technician, which I thought was an interesting combination for their theatrical productions. Again, this is a very robust role. So someone who's comfortable with audio, someone who's a good lighting technician, and all the automation that all entails. Even doing some set design work and some basic equipment maintenance. So if you're a jackass of all trades, like a lot of my friends are, maybe you need to be working at NYU in New York City. Check them out on monster.com. Over at careerbuilder.com, we saw Sinclair Broadcast Group's got a ton of listings right now. One that caught my eye was a live tech. What's that?
Van driver.
Van driver. Yeah, well, I thought this kind of ties into our production trucks talk. But this is someone for their, they've got a lifestyle video magazine they go out and do shoots just like a local news affiliate might. So this is production van based. This is someone who obviously can shoot, is comfortable directing multicam productions, but also your day-to-day activities are going to be, maintaining that van like your baby. So making sure you put oil in your baby. I don't know how babies work, but I'm assuming that's what and all rounded out this week on the job board with Simply Hired. Regional News Network, RNN, in New York. They're also looking for a TV truck operator. That's a cool beat to be in. I think Scott Withers, we were talking about him last week. He did some of that news truck Manhattan work for a while. So I wouldn't want to drive a bicycle around Manhattan. But if you've got the chops and you want to make it as a TV truck operator, check out RNN on Simply Hired. And that is all I have for the job board this week. We'll roll right into our B-Block segment where mobile video production continues with some talk about flypacks. Jordan, do you like flypacks?
Yeah.
hate 'em.
Okay, the reason.
I hate
Okay,
'em,
here's the reason why I like. There's positive and negatives to flypacks. I love flypacks. The reason why is you can basically offload on a trailer, go straight into the ballroom. If it's on the fourth floor of a ballroom or something like that, fifth floor, whatever, and
Third
set
floor.
up right there, and you're good to go.
I was actually, when we were talking about NEP earlier, the makers of these huge production trailers, they also have a flypack division. And that's the idea. Yeah, it's great to be able to roll a fully functional studio anywhere, but sometimes you need to be inside somewhere where you can't drive a trailer into a ballroom. Turns out they don't like that. So these little detachable rolling cases that are extremely transportable, everything's pre-wired into a case. I got my start with doing flypacks over at Andrews Media here in Irving. I've got a link to his flypack that we built for some of our touring auctions. This awkward pause while you're clicking.
Huh?
Is your computer okay, or
No, it's there.
is it dead? Okay, boom. So here's a flypack. Basically, the concept is rolling, equipment cases, and you've got your gear all wired into them, and everything's all pre-wired together. So when you get on site, it's really, if they're dialed in pretty well, add power, run your camera feeds, hook up some microphones, boom, portable studio. And it's great. Yeah, we would transport this particular HD compact flypack in the back of just like a production van. So yeah, we had like a wheelchair ramp on the back of it that would fold out, and the sucker would just roll up into it. And it's got a little Panasonic HD switcher, just a 1ME switcher on this particular model with a little place for the producer to sit next to it, built-in comms. The back's got breakout panels so you can run cameras in and out. There's a little audio module on one side, and I think that's just like a tools module on the other side. They had some recording options, but very...
We also have the video disc of Super Troopers in there as well.
yes, standard issue with all of our productions would be Super Troopers for the crew to watch. But yeah, I just love this concept of instead of just getting to the show with a billion Pelican cases, and Andrew used to have like laundry carts full of cables and everything to wire all this stuff, and having to build all this stuff on site. Taking the engineer's job and just pre-wiring it so you can roll into these places in a much smaller package, flip everything on, and it's ready to go.
Boom, boom, shakalaka.
And then up in Denton, we've got Worldwide Satellite with Vivek Astak as the owner out there. And this is a cool little company that does these things too. I worked with them and Andrew together on some of their live surgical operations. So they had the same concept, but it was even cleaner and probably tidied up a lot more because they would be not inside surgical suites, but they would be doing web video broadcasts for OR Live, which is a medical educational company. And again, the concept is these are all flight pack cases that just open up, and all of your equipment's pre-wired, and inside all of this gear that's in this picture here, I know they could run it off of 120 amp circuit. So it's very easy to support this at the local venue. You just roll in, connect everything. It's all power conditioned and pre-wired, and drop a couple cameras in place. They had like a camera arm that they would use for over the surgical field, and you could produce beautiful high definition multi-camera productions from like a storage closet. And it was just very powerful to be able to bring a global audience that kind of production on the fly, no pun intended, using nothing but these little production cases. So from there, kind of talk about what we've got going on here at the Lone Star. Technology continues to go forward and becomes cheaper and more robust. So this is kind of a thumbnail view of the one that we operate with here for our main studio productions. Made the decision early on as I was traveling around the country with my wife that we need to put this into a mobile situation. So every time that we change locations every 3 months, I don't have to unwire, package everything back up and lock it away, and then get on site and spend a few weeks reattaching everything. But yeah, this all fits into one rolling case. We've got our streaming production computer built in the middle there, a little audio mixer, some power cleaning. I've even got a tool kit built into it, so all of our little throwdown converters and just
Always have to have tools there just in case.
Yep,
Mercies.
that's why I hire you guys.
Yeah.
Good motherfucker. Right. But yeah, that's even smaller thing. I mean, this is just a one case solution. And I guess you were saying there's pluses and minuses with flypacks. And one of the minuses I will say is it's very tempting when everything is this small of a footprint to just have one operator running it all.
Yeah.
And it can be done if you've got something really basic, repetitive. Maybe you're doing like a high school graduation or something. Doesn't require a lot of orchestration. But that's not to say that these units can't support multiple operators. Like going back to that Worldwide Satellite picture where you've got a room full of technicians. That's probably the better way to do this, where you've still got a video director, you've got a separate graphics homeboy, you've got an audio professional in there, you've got a producer in the back kind of doing the actual orchestration stuff. Just because you could have one person running from station to station managing all of this, don't do that unless you have to. And then I've also now working in the healthcare industry as a full-time thing. I've had an opportunity to see some of these other applications for portable production equipment and portable video mobility in an emergency communications environment. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the last segment on trucks, but this is a mobile emergency, I forget what they call it. Mobile Emergency Radio Communications. It's MERC is the acronym for these little trailers, and they're funded by the federal government for various local agencies to have access to in times of emergency. But it's just a small little trailer with like, I think, 12 kW generator built into it. It's got a KU dish and a big mast at the top with it's got like a camera and microwave dish and all sorts of radio packages inside of it. So the idea is you just put this sucker on the back of an F-350, drive it down the road to wherever, a hurricane has just wiped out a major metropolitan area. It's got a little inflatable Zoom-Ro tent on the back of it, so you can have air-conditioned shelter where your technicians can be monitoring radios and downlinking video from the news networks or sending backup video conference. There's telemedicine applications for these things now where you can be sending surgical video backup to or assessment video backup to specialist doctors making transport decisions when everybody's in kind of a triage state. So very powerful little mobility options for the producer, and not just in an entertainment kind of way. There's all sorts of great applications for this technology and this way of thinking. You've got to be more robust. You've got to have a lot of eye on redundancy.
I worked with. I was trying to find a picture here, but I couldn't find one. I worked with a company out of Dallas called All for Media.
Yeah,
and they actually have the same thing. They have like a mobile flight pack that unload off of a semi and stuff like that, and everything's organized in their own road cases and stuff like that. And you just come out there and they set up different zones. You had the video director, you have the CG, you have all this other stuff. So it's another multi-person thing, but it's all rolled in. And the events that I've done were at the Gaylord Texan here, and we'd be in the Texas Ballroom, and they would set all their equipment actually up on the stage of the Texas Ballroom because the stage wasn't being used, and they build the stage
and they build out a separate stage in front of it.
Yeah, they build a separate stage out in front, and then all of their stuff would be in the back where the power and the distro and stuff like this, the company disconnect and just run off the power there. It's pretty set up easily. You just have all the drawers, and the content drawers would be right next to where that workstation is. So like, oh, that's the CG, put that cable in there.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing about a flight pack is when you tear it down, everything has to go back in the right spot.
Yeah.
With a TV truck, it's mostly all built in, roll in, boom, you set up, roll out camera tracks and stuff like that, and you're set to go because everything's hardwired, stays hardwired.
Yeah. Except for maybe your camera lines, it's kind of hard not to put those in the one place they fit.
With flight packs, you're coming in there, redoing wiring into the racks and stuff like that, trying to make it work for the venue that you're at.
Yeah, with flight packs for sure, you've got a lot of compactness, and everything's got to go back where you put it, and it doesn't. The whole bit is compactness. You don't have a lot of extra space. You don't have a lot of extra room. But I've always been that way. Anyway, when I strike a show, I like to kind of get everything orderly and accounted for there. I don't just like to throw it in the truck and then get back to a warehouse and spend 2 weeks trying to unpack it. I just like it to be ready to go. And the best way to do that is spend a little bit longer packing it up and coiling cables properly and that sort of thing. But strikes always go by faster than setups anyway. Even using a flight pack or production truck, it seems like there's more tweaking and that sort of thing. And at the end of the show, you're just like, everything goes.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it.
And see, that's the bad thing. It's like a lot of times we're just getting rushed to do the loadout and stuff like that, and organization just goes out the door. That we're not thinking about the next event that we're going to be setting up. We just throw everything in.
For sure. That's
like, oh, don't worry, they'll just fix at the warehouse. Well, sometimes you go into another show immediately after this, and you don't have time. And like those are precious minutes on load in, because load in usually takes the longest. Loadout doesn't, because we're just striking, throwing things in cases and going on.
Yeah, it always comes out somewhere. But any chance I can, whenever we're doing shows, I like to be orderly in the strike, and that really helps if you're not. I know a lot of times our fly pack operations, we wouldn't just go back to the warehouse. We'd go to the next production.
Yeah.
And God help you if you
three
just threw everything into
three
a
shows
case.
on one trip,
Right,
three
yeah.
shows
you wouldn't want to just have to be like, okay, where do we put this, or where's this hide? And it's really nice when everything's ready to roll, and that's how you do a good production, in my humble opinion. What other kind of flight packs have you used besides have you ever had a lot of time on these, or?
Well, we've had a few flight packs at my place, house of worship place, and stuff like that, where we'll go into like different rooms and stuff like that. And it's mostly, rolling the board, roll in, it is simple pretty much. It's a very simple setup. Like I wouldn't even consider that a flight pack. I just consider it, you have a few cases, you have an Image Pro, and then boom.
Yeah.
You have a couple projector screens or tie into the house system, and you're set to go. That's about the two. It's like I worked with Worldwide, I worked with Offered, I worked with AMS. I forgot what other event. I think it was Worldwide. It could have been somebody else that was doing another flight pack that came in. INS.
Immigration Naturalization Services?
Yeah, that one.
Weird.
IHN.
Okay.
IHN, they have a flight pack also that I've messed with as well. Just roll in. Same thing, just roll the cases in. It's pretty well, it's cheap, and it can fit in a trailer. All your gear can fit in the back of a trailer or something like that, and you're good to go.
Well, I think that's where the genesis of the idea to build these things was. You've got the same go-to equipment list. You're pulling the same gear for every show all the time. Why not just hardwire it and have a few more flexibility options for, we might do a 3-camera shoot, we might do a 12-camera shoot.
Harvin thinks that you invented the flight pack.
I did invent the flight pack, that's true. You can look that up on Wikipedia, search for blatant lies, and it's right there at the top. Hi! Yeah, I don't know. I like fly packs. I like trucks. This is my fun show. I kind of wrote this one. Can you tell?
Yeah.
This is like, yay, let's talk about nerd stuff. Yay.
Well, we don't have Scott, so right now he's,
gosh.
When we come back, I think, it's going to be some different topics.
When is he coming back? What?
I don't know. Like, you saw the group me text. He's just, he's busy.
he's eating it hard this week. He's working for like 15 theaters simultaneously and running something like 250,000 shows. I don't know. It's nuts. But we'll be glad to have him back. Now is the time where we need to start thinking about, Jordan, what future topics we might do. We'll probably round out the season next episode, actually. This is episode 123.
123.
So next one will be episode 24. Probably a good way to round out season 1. I don't think we're going to necessarily have any downtime. We'll continue to have something fresh for you each week, but
because we have nothing else to do.
We're losers. But we appreciate you being a loser with us, Harvin. And anyone else?
And Kyle. And your mom.
All right. Show text. But I think what we need to do is have an Apple Windows show. We need to have a face-off.
Because that's two big things that happen in technology, that happen on productions and stuff like that.
That's coming up more and more in this stupid show. Yeah.
You have people that use Windows and that there's software and devices that can only be Windows-based, and then you have a lot of people that roll in with their Macs and Apples and stuff like that.
Yeah,
to show off
and there's like a serious religious divide on which is better. And I'm kind of agnostic, so I would like to cover that with objective perspective, and kind of let maybe we'll have you speak toward the Apple world, and maybe we can get Harvin on and have him talk about why he's such a hater of all things Apple. And I don't know. I mean, because he's not just like Windows; he's also a big Android guy versus iOS.
Yeah.
And I've had experience with both good and bad. So I think it bears talking about, and maybe we could kind of flesh out those thoughts and kind of get away from some of the dogma and find out if there's some best practices and reasonable things to consider when you're choosing your hardware loadout for something in Showtech or in your personal life, because apparently Showtech sometimes do have personal life. This is something I've been hearing about more and more from friends of friends, but it's not all work. So who knew? Maybe that's next week on the Showtech Show. We're going to talk about the Apple versus Windows versus Android debate. Anyway, thank you guys for watching another episode of the Showtech Show, episode 123 here on the Lone Star for another Sunday night. We would like to encourage you to find our past episodes on the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TV Lone Star, and we have a Showtech Show playlist that you can check out. We also have a Twitter account. I don't know if you guys like Twitter, but we do. I like Twitter. You like Twitter? We're at Showtech Show on the Twitter. And you can tweet to us. You can follow us for updates, sometimes properly spelled, whatever. And we would encourage you, as always, to send us communications the old-fashioned way via email. The email address here at the show is showtechshow@frontiertelevision.com. We'll read through those, and if it has play, we'll put it on the air. And please do join us each week here on the Lone Star. It's frontiertelevision.com. We're live Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time. We're doing this thing live and video, and we do encourage you to join us in the chat room. It's good times in there.
It's actually fine.
Always some characters. In chat. But that's all we've got this week for another fantastic show. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Good night, everybody.